What's going on YouTube? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're training well. This topic is really on my mind. It's something everybody struggles with in triathlon and it's super important to talk about it. So let's get into it. This week we're going to talk about motivation in triathlon. Triathlon is an endurance sport, no matter the distance, and endurance has the word enduring in it. Most of the enduring is actually not during the race itself, I think, because in order to be the best in the race itself, you have to be enduring a lot of training. It's 3 sports, it requires a lot of focus, even just to finish one. It's not just a 5k run, even the shortest distance. You have to swim 500 to 750 meters, you have to bike 20k and run 5k. That's the shortest distance, 3 sports, so lots of enduring. I have 3 tips for you today, which will help you with your motivation and probably make you a better triathlete as well. First point is super important, is know your why. So know your why, what does that mean? When you're deep into a race, even if it's a sprint race or a full Ironman, earlier or later the question will come, why am I doing this? Why am I here? So first of all, in the race, you need to have a clear answer for that. You're not gonna come up with that answer in the race. And let's say it's a rainy day or you've got lots going on in your life right now. You have this huge sport goal, but life is kind of bouncing you around left and right, is pushing you down. That's what life does to all of us. Even there, you need to know your why. If you do it, for example, for others, let's say you want to impress others or like just go into a community and maybe be one of them or something like it. I don't think it's going to cut it. You're not going to make it through. You're going to endure more than you should. Maybe you're in the wrong sport actually. So you have to know your why. Really be honest to yourself. And find an answer to why are you doing this sport. Maybe you're doing this sport for a while and you just progressed through it without thinking. You got faster and faster and you're thinking about Kona or something like it. And suddenly you say, hey, let's go. You're super hyped. But then you realize and see the plan, see all the work it takes, all the dedication next to the training, the pre-cooking, the tireless hamster wheel. That's what it is. Because if you finish one day, you maybe have 2-3 hours to chill in the evening. And the next day it starts all over again. And you got to repeat every single day for many months, maybe years. Without knowing your why, like I said, maybe you lost your why. Maybe you have to go back to, I just want to have fun. I want to be in this sport to have fun. But you got into this competitive bubble where you don't even want to be in. Then get out of it. Go back to the fun part, figure out your why, and you'll be a happy camper. Point number 2. Know your goal. What does it mean, know your goal? Know why you're in the sport. 2 different examples for that. First one is, for example, it's just to have fun. Really, it's just to have fun. You want to be healthy, you enjoy the lifestyle, then also treat it like it is fun. Have a coach that understands why you're doing this. Fun. So you don't have to, if it's your goal to have fun, you don't have to sit 4 or 5 hours on the indoor trainer, although you dread it, or you have a long run planned in a flat road street, super boring. You don't have to do that. Just go hiking instead, mix it up. If you're in the pool, let's say you have 3 pool sessions a week scheduled, which is, to be honest, if it's just to have fun and you're dreading it, just do 2 pool sessions. You have an hour planned and after like 40 minutes, you're like, oh, this is horrible. I don't enjoy this at all. Get out. Nobody's forcing you. Remember, every single session, I want to have fun, I want to be healthy. Of course, you can't quit all the time, but in the end, if you're quitting all the time, and then maybe it's not a sport for you, which is also totally okay, because it's a tough sport, it's an enduring sport, and you kind of have to love this type of hamster wheel. For example, I like it a lot. I don't know why, I don't know what's wrong with me. I like this kind of little puzzle pieces to find it, and this enduring part, challenge myself. Can I do this? Can I do this? For me, it's fun actually. Then on the other hand, opposite to fun, not opposite, but pretty much opposite. If it's your goal to win and to get your absolute highest potential out of your body, you want to find out how fast can you go over the short distance or long distance in triathlon, how fast can you be, then most of the points I said just now, you can scratch them completely, because if you want to win, you have to have more than motivation. Motivation is not gonna last. Motivation is a short-term emotional state and you need lots of discipline. Discipline comes through concrete goals as well. So let's say you set a certain goal specific for the year with X splits or whatever it is, whatever goal you set. You have to have that goal somewhere close to you, either it's next to your bed or on your fridge, all the time reminding you once that why comes, why am I doing this? I'm tired. That's why. I sat down in the beginning of the year and said, this is what I'm gonna do. I commit to it, and then discipline takes over. Then you scratch the emotions out, you stop the monkey brain up there, and you just go and do it, and you're gonna feel better afterwards. Don't feel better afterwards. Remember the recovery part I've always been talking about is a eating, sleeping, and drinking part. Super key, super basic, but 90% of recovery. And most people struggle with it. So if you want to meet your potential and win, it needs more than motivation, what I just said, but it also needs to manage your ego in training. So you can't just be going like a bull in one direction. You got to be smart. So if you're really tight in a session, you got to change it around and adapt it. You agreed to go to the cinema with some friends, but you're feeling super tired, super trashed from the training, just normal fatigue. You might have to cancel it. You don't feel like stretching, doing body work after dinner in the evening because you're so tired. You gotta do it anyways because you committed to being your absolute best, and their discipline has to take over. You have to have a concrete plan, not just for training, but especially all the stuff that goes around training in the recovery part. You gotta be very disciplined in those, or you will probably get injured. As Tim Grover said in his book, winning is everything. Winning is like a marathon, but not a marathon pace, but marathon, and you run it like a sprint. That's what winning demands of you. Winning isn't loyal to you. Winning comes and goes. If you win once, winning the second time is going to be 10 times harder because you got to reinvent yourself, do new things. So that's a whole nother topic of winning. If all that sounds too harsh to you, it's not possible for you or anything like that, then winning isn't for you, and that's also totally okay. Because winning demands a high price of you every single day. Rent is due every single day. So that's what you gotta do. Repeat, and then you have a chance to win. Otherwise, no chance. The third point of the day and last one is choose your distance. That's something that's really important. Even in the office world, I noticed it's quite common that back then it used to be, hey man, did you run a marathon? Now it's, hey man, did you do an Ironman? So even there they challenge themselves, which is cool, of course, which is great. But you also gotta do the distance you enjoy most. So there's the best and easy physiological test I ever heard is from the Greg Bennett podcast. He asked, actually, it's just a simple question. I'm gonna try it with you. So listen, would you rather do a 4 times 4 minute super hard run set right now or a 2 hour long run? Think about it for a second. I had the answer right away. And the answer is, the answer to that question determines your innate ability to choose the right distance. So if you choose the 4 minute interval, you're a short distance guy. If you chose the 2 hour run, like I did, you're a long distance guy. It basically just describes with a simple question like that, what your physiology likes the most, right? Coming back to motivation, once you choose the right distance for you, you will automatically actually have better results, which in turn very often motivates you more to do it more. So to train more, motivation is higher, works with kids as well. If kids are really talented in something and just like from the beginning on do really well, they're more motivated and hungry to do more and more and more, and you don't have to force them to do anything. Same approach for adults. So when I answered the question, it was actually a funny mix of the two. I answered for sure the 2 hour long run. Even when I was 15 years old, I always felt like after 11K running, I just started to feel I got really warm and all that. But then on the other hand, I was always pretty good at sprinting, 10-15 second sprint and long. I did a DNA test once there. I could see exactly that those muscle fiber distribution is like that. It's a funny mix. So I could do a marathon, but still not be stuck in an endurance pace all the time. I cannot ramp it up. I can ramp it up. So I can do a finish sprint, really high pace at the end. So this is of course really good for Ironman. That's also why I was drawn more to Ironman, I guess. I just felt like this is more my type of engine. What I struggle with, for example, is faster work, faster than threshold paces. That's something that I really struggle with. I just feel like at a certain pace. I'm just not efficient anymore. So that's my kind of weakness, and I'm working on that because that will eventually also, of course, make me better for the long distance. So last and final piece, somebody asked that once, what is my motivation for the sport? What's my motivation? My motivation is actually entirely intrinsic. It took a while to figure it out for me because when I went into the sport, I was of course further back in the pack, and eventually I trained in more, and especially long distance, I got results. I was on the podium, I won all those things, and I didn't really get this kind of hype feeling that I thought I would. It was a bit, yes, I won, but I didn't feel like I got this biggest hype because intrinsically I felt like there were so many gaps in my own performance that like I wasn't happy. Then on the other hand, sometimes I had a 4th place and intrinsically I felt, oh, I really nailed this and this, and I was happy. So I think that's a really healthy way to look at it. I'm happy that I have this way, because if you're always outcome driven and only results which are not always in your control, if this is all what's your motivation, then you're gonna have a hard time. I want to know, how fast can I go over the Ironman distance? So that's a 3.8K, 180K bike and a marathon at the end. I want to find out with this extra training and this extra recovery and this step I took now to full time basically, how fast can I go? I have the big goal set for Ironman Frankfurt end of June this year, 2022. So there I want to have a 52-minute non-wetsuit freshwater. It's a lake, no salt water. Changes the buoyancy of you in the water. It's easier with salt water. So 52-minute flat swim. Then I want to ride 300 watts on the bike and run a 2:55 marathon, even if it's hot. Even if I win the age group, let's say by 45 minutes, and I didn't hit the targets I just told you, I'd be pissed. I'd be disappointed, to be honest. So it's not the final end result. Yes, of course, I'm also driven by the title and the European champ and all that. Sounds all fancy and dandy, but in the end, that's also not what I can control. I can only control my targets, my splits, and work towards it every single day. So what is in my control is the enduring part, to swim, bike and run every single day to the best of my ability, to recover as smart as possible, and that will in turn get me closer to my goals I just set. Is there fear of failing? Absolutely, I definitely have that. So I think if you're not scared of failing, your goals are not high enough. If they're really high enough, you have a certain fear that drives you. I think it's a healthy fear as well. If it's that high away and an unrealistic goal, like really unrealistic, then the fear is kind of destroying you. But I have a healthy fear that drives me every single day, because I know, for example, hey, if I slack in swimming for like 2-3 weeks and I don't progress forward, that's not good. Same in running, same in biking. I want to see improvements and get better, and that will get me closer to hitting those targets. So fear is normal. Doubt, on the other hand, must be erased at all costs. Doubt does nothing for you. I have, for example, 0 doubts that I can do that. 0. But the fear factor is there, because there's so many elements that can go wrong in the race before, things that are out of your control, and that's kind of something that pushes me forward to really give everything. Okay, enough talk for today. I hope this was entertaining for you and you learned something on the way. If you have any future topics that you would like me to talk about, you can comment them below. I'll address them in my next videos. Have a great week of training. I see you next week. Ciao. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can really help me out if you like and subscribe, push your notification bell, comment below what you want to see next, and I see you in the next video.